Developers just revealed information about the new formation for combo, where you get extra attacks. That's the Delta formation, and it looks so powerful. The legendary inscriptions have been revealed, the rare inscriptions have been revealed, and I've got a theory as to who exactly is getting this powerful formation. I think it will be Cavalry. I think it might be Leadership and Engineering, and let me take a moment to explain why. You see, the reason we can predict what is going to happen, and the reason I think we're getting formations way before the commanders even arrive in the game, is actually addressing player feedback. And this may have been a plot twist you didn't expect, but one of the things players have said repeatedly, and I have been a huge advocate of this, is that you should get rewarded for strategically using the things available to you. I mean, what are we talking about? This is a city building war game. It's all about strategy and planning and collection. So if the developers were to release a formation at the same time that they release commanders that use that formation, no one is ready for it. You couldn't possibly be ready for it. In fact, what the developers have historically done when they release new equipment into the game is they'll say, hey, any of the pick one, choice chests that you open will be valuable and usable for anything that was from the past, but not the future stuff. Now, one really cool way to circumvent this problem is to just let all the chests be usable on future things. But if your armament crates can only be used for older formations, then it stands to reason that the developers want to start to give you the option now to be able to open for Delta formation as soon as those commanders are actually available. And a part of the reason I think this is the case is that we got circle formation on screen over here long time ago, okay? Circle formation is all about healing, and healing archers are coming very soon. Now, cavalry come after archers, so if this pattern holds true of the developers putting a formation into the game before they launch the commanders that will really leverage that formation, okay? We're seeing this now with archers and the whole mighty healing thing. Then my suspicion is probably correct, that Delta formation is going to be taken advantage of probably by cavalry, and possibly other troop types too, but I suspect only in a minor way. I suspect only in a minor way for some interesting synergies and KVKs where you can switch the commander's troop type and that kind of thing, right? Like I think for the most part, they will probably release a combo mechanic or a mighty healing mechanic in advance just to test it. Like, for example, it turns out Gajamata has mighty healing. I didn't know that, actually. So mighty healing was already in the game. The new archers aren't new for that. And Delta formation, combo attacks, that stuff's not new. They tested it with Liu Chat. This is my theory. They tested on a commander, and then if it's good and people are liking it, and it's working, and they balance it with lots of data, and it tests at scale, then, boom, they make that the central mechanic of another commander. That's what I'm thinking is the approach for the developers. The other reason that I think it's pretty obvious that the developers would move in this direction of releasing the formations way in advance of when they launch the commanders that use the formation is that if the game is balanced around players having inscriptions, then the only way that people can actually use new commanders that show up in game is, especially for Rally and Garrison, is if they can have saved up in advance in order to actually get some of these things. Because, like, imagine you drop in a new meta, but the armaments are always, like, 6 months behind because it takes so long to get everything. Like, yeah, you can drop in new stuff, but it won't be impactful for a very long time. And I think this diminishes that a little bit, or in the very least, is sort of rewarding the players that either hoard or spend to accumulate the things they would need to instantly do really powerful stuff with that formation. That is all why I think formations are given to us way in advance of the commanders that would actually use them. So now that we've gone off the deep end for the future of the game, and if you like that kind of stuff, consider subscribing, let's break down why I think it is that the Delta formation is going to be absolutely busted. Okay, remember, a combo attack is basically when you get a bonus attack, and that happens already in-game. Liu Chat does this from his expertise. So the Delta formation increases your combo attack damage by 10%. And for the scroll, the legendary inscription gives you a 3.5% boost to combo attack damage dealt. Whenever their troop launches a combo attack, it gains 1.5% bonus to combo attack damage dealt for 10 seconds and stacks 5 times. So this is pretty legit. You're going to get 7.5% bonus to combo attack damage and 3.5 base, by the way. Yeah. Your combo attacks are just going to pop off and by the way, you can get that legendary inscription from the KVK shop. At the rare tier, whenever the wielder's troop launches a combo attack, it is an 80% chance to gain a 10% bonus to combo attack damage for 2 seconds. So I think this tells us, that we will see lots of combo attacks, like back-to-back combo attacks, which is going to be insane rage generation. Like, if they give this to Cavalry, oh my god, they're just going to pop off, man. There'll be a cooldown here of 5 seconds on this ability. From here, the butterfly effect. This is the instrument. The wielder's troop gains 3.5% boost, combo attack damage dealt. You see the trend here. Whenever their troop launches a combo attack, any effects triggered by launching a basic attack are 20% more likely to trigger, up to a total of 100% chance to trigger. That is insane. So, like, for example, Liu Che has a chance to trigger all kinds of stuff from basic attacks, like instant proc damage. But this makes it so that your chance to trigger these things is increased. Bro, that is so strong. That is so strong. Okay. Causative. Okay, causative is the next one. This is rare for the instrument. The wielder's troop gains a 1.5% boost to combo attack damage dealt whenever their troop launches a combo attack. Any effects triggered by launching a basic attack are 8% more likely to trigger. So a small version of the legendary, which is what it should be. And like, yes, these seem absolutely insane to me. Steel Skin. You gain 2% damage resistance. This is different than damage taken reduction, weirdly enough. And I think this is more powerful than damage taken reduction. And this has to do with like where the multipliers are in the formula. I don't know exactly where this goes, but I've heard a lot of people talking about how this language is like a post-formula modifier, which is beneficial to you, okay? And more powerful than typical damage dealt and damage taken reduction, etc. Whenever their troop launches a combo attack, it takes 1.5% less damage for the next 10 seconds and it stacks 5 times. So look, combo attacks gaining stacks is like, that's rhyming, is actually really cool and synergistic and intuitive. That like you're comboing and so you're stacking something. And that just to me feels like it lines up really nicely. Determined. You just take 1.5%. No, I was going to say take 1.5% less damage, but this is 1.5% damage resistance. So it makes you more tanky. Okay, and this is actually the flag, not the emblem. The emblem is, oh, and by the way, the flag, this right over here, you can get from turning in a ridiculous amount of shredded legendary armaments. But it is something you can work toward, and you can save for in advance. So like the moment that it lands in game, and the commanders are actually here, you could be like, boom, I'm going to put this onto that formation right now. You could do that. So next, we covered the rare. We've got the emblem, Flurry. 8% boost to combo attack damage dealt is like just very straightforward and also almost doubles the effectiveness of the formation bonus, right? 10% is what you get from the formation bonus. Pretty legit. And then Relentless is a 3.5% boost to combo attack damage dealt. Now, in order for any of these to be really worth it, you can't drop this on Liu Che. Like, he doesn't do enough with combo attacks. He's got 200 damage factor, something like that in his combo attack. What you need is lots of combo attacks. I think that's coming in a future commander. And like I said, we know Cavalry are going to come after the archers. I think this is what they're going to be getting, quite frankly. Now, good news as well. The developers talked about how you can pick what you want for your pity. So every 10 rare inscriptions, you're guaranteed to get the legendary inscription of your choice. You're guaranteed a rare inscription at 150 armament pulls that are legendary. You're guaranteed then a legendary inscription at 1,500 legendary armament pulls. But this is what the interface is going to look like for how that works, where you select where you want that legendary inscription to go, whether you want it to be on scroll, instrument, flag, or emblem. And pro tip, you're going to pick the instrument or the emblem. It's one or the other. And I believe the emblem is slightly more rare. The probability of getting inscriptions is lower or something like that. I just remember the chances of a good outcome for an emblem being lower. I don't remember why, but I made a video about that a long time ago. Maybe I'll put that in the end screen so you can brush up on the probabilities for your armaments. So one other thing the developers mentioned in this upcoming patch is Alliance Ascension event, which I was like, hey, yo, I love Alliance events. But I feel like what they showed here is basically teaching Alliance leaders the basics of what they need to do to run their Alliance, which, like, I think that's cool. I think it's good they're adding this where there's all these missions and they include things like building flags and, build an Alliance resource center and capture some Guardians. So it's like very basic stuff. Build your second fortress, I guess, right? Like, okay, rally the altar. So I think this is more oriented toward just new players and new kingdoms getting set up. But I will point out that having good leadership is like the most important aspect of whether or not you enjoy your community, I think. So this is good that the game is helping build more competent leaders. I think that's what this event series is really kind of doing. So with all that said, if you're amped up about the update and particularly hyped for potentially cavalry with combo attack, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I mean, it could be that they skip the cav cycle and give it to leadership and ranged commanders, which, like, the ranged commanders would, ranged players would be probably very hyped about that. Cav would lose their mind. But if they give it to cavalry, could that mean we see a cavalry combo talent tree in the future? Could be a thing. Guess we'll find out. Subscribe, and if you want to see that video I was talking about, where I break down the armament probabilities, cards will be right over here in just a second for that one. I think it's pretty important to understand the probabilities of armaments, because like it or not, you want to get really good armaments for your account. And knowing the probabilities, turns out, makes a little bit of a difference for the choices you make.